I'm going to speak tonight about afflictive emotions and how to allow oneself to be free of them. Generally, we tend to bind ourselves up by them unnecessarily, and because we take them to be so real. We tend to think they belong to us in a sense. I have hatred. I have anger. I have jealousy. Are just a few of the classes of disturbing emotions that as human beings we have. Why do they disturb us? Well, they disturb us because we identify with them. We think that they belong to us, that our disturbances are distinct from everyone else's. Sometimes we may think no one understands us. No one can know our suffering. We elaborate on our disturbances. We try and figure a way to release ourselves from them, to resolve them, in general, to get rid of them. And it's this last aspiration to get rid of them that makes it so difficult for us. So, how does one deal with disturbing emotions? Naturally, we don't want to live with them. And when we try to get rid of them, they become inflamed because when we're trying to get rid of them, we're really identifying with them in some form or other. It becomes like kicking a barking dog. The more you kick at it, the more it comes after you. So, what is the best approach? I'll give an unusual analogy. In the 1950s and 1960s, teenagers played a very dangerous game called chicken. And some of you that have been around a while might know what that is. The expression chicken out came from this dangerous game, which was basically on a deserted road, facing in opposite directions, some distance apart. Two cars driven by two teens drove head-on towards each other, full speed, to see who chickens out. And by chicken out, it means to swerve away from and avoid a head-on collision. Sometimes nobody chickened out, and both people died or got very seriously injured. But more often than not, one of the teens chickened out and swerved away and avoided the accident. He was chicken. The other one wasn't. So to chicken out in this era was a loss of faith. So what does this have to do with what we're talking about? Afflictive emotions, hatred, anger, jealousy, excessive lust, and so forth. Greed for things, attachments, and confusion, just generally confusion about life, depression, an inability to find one's place in the world, an inability to make friends, shyness, inferiority complexes. There are so many, literally limitless as the Ganges sands. But they have one thing in common, and that is that we identify with them, we are disturbed by them, and their afflictions. So what does this have to do with chickening out? Well, the analogy of chickening out, of the cars going in opposite direction towards each other, is actually an excellent metaphor for how to resolve disturbing emotions, afflictions. Generally, there's two approaches people apply, and neither one of them work. One is to get rid of them, to kick them out of ourselves, wish they weren't there, or try and get rid of them. The other is to try and hide from them, pretend that they don't exist, put on a good public face, act happy when they're not, even indulge in eating sprees and so forth to hide from them. But if we hide from them through eating or even entertaining ourselves, distracting ourselves in some way, going to movies, going out to eat, finding friends to hang out with, and so forth. This is a kind of hiding from our afflictions. And when the party's over, we can't sleep at night. They come right back, and they're stronger than ever because we tried to hide from them. If we try and kick them out, it's extremely tiring and it simply does not work. They just get more inflamed. But we can play the game of chicken with them. And what's the game of chicken? In this context, we don't need cars or anything like that. All we need to do is sit in meditation and look at our mind. Bring up the disturbing emotion, the affliction, the feeling. Usually there's a particular feeling associated with a disturbance, a mental disturbance. And try and hold on to that feeling. Instead of trying to get rid of it or hide from it, bring it up in meditation, whether it's as a feeling or a particular thought, and take it as the meditation topic. And by that I mean, look at it. Try not and look at anything else, not a mantra, not watching the breath, or anything else. Sit quietly and look at the affliction. Just watch it. Watch it and try and deliberately hold on to it. Not let it out of one's awareness. Keep attention fully focused on it and nothing else. Play chicken with it. See which one gives in first. If you do this, that's Tantra. that's taking a disturbance and using it as a meditation topic, a topic of meditation. That's what Tantra is all about. It's using and recognizing that thoughts, whether good or bad, are energy. And looking at that energy, in this case, we're talking about a disturbance, and looking at that disturbance. And if you look at it and continue to look at it, and you do not chicken out, that disturbance will chicken out. It will dissolve. That's how to resolve disturbing emotions. And I used a metaphor of the game of chicken, but it's really very common practice in most advanced meditation techniques, where you don't try and escape through breath mastery or try and focus on something else. You take the actual affliction as the meditation topic, and you treat it just like you would watching the breath, mindfulness of breathing, or reciting a mantra, practicing self-inquiry, asking who am I, who is being mindful of Buddha, analytical meditation. Instead of doing those things, you play chicken with your afflictions. You make that the meditation topic. That's how to resolve these kind of particular disturbances that come up for almost every single meditator. We all have various things we've done in the past, harm we've done to others, harm we've done to ourselves, misdeeds, some from past lives, accumulated tendencies. They're all peculiar to each of us. But there's a universal method to dissolve these things. And dissolve is the right word, because they just sort of disappear. You don't figure out why they're there or how they got there or anything else. Just through practice, they just dissolve. They're just not there anymore. You look for them, you can't find them. They don't find you. And this all happens through what we're just talking about here, watching them, using them as a meditation topic. This is the most effective way of dealing with afflictive emotions. It's the most advanced, and sometimes it's very difficult to do because it's easy to talk about someone else's afflictions and looking at telling someone else to look at their afflictions, because those afflictions aren't yours. But in reality, when we're looking at our own stuff, it can be difficult. But just because it can be difficult doesn't mean it's impossible. We all have the capacity. Each of us has the Buddha nature, Buddha mind, and we do not need to identify with afflictions and be burdened by them. So I'll conclude this talk here. It's a bit of advice. It worked tremendously for myself. It worked very, very well. I can say it's totally principled, based on actual Buddhist teachings. So find out for yourself if you have any problems and disturbances. This is a good way to kill two birds in one stone. Actually get rid of afflictions and develop strength and meditation both at the same time concurrently.